Hello, and welcome back to the Evil Fae Banner Review, where we talk about all the characters you know and love and hate, but now they're evil, ooh. Today, we have a brand new Fallen banner featuring just that, and what better way to rank them than on an evil line graph that I don't have, so the Eikthenir that isn't actually Eikthenir graph will have to do. Today's rankings will be based on how far gone the devs are, and if you want more evil content in your feed, or you're feeling a bit devilish, then make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you, I'd really appreciate it. First up, we have Fallen Byleth. This is the third male Byleth we've gotten in less than a year, and if you know Fae, you know that they tend to make ults within quick succession really unique and interesting. What new and interesting things will this Byleth do over the previous two? Let's see. Fallen Byleth comes with Sothis' Wrath, which is a slaying green tome that inflicts Panic, Speed Shackle, and Res Shackle at the start of the turn and after taking an action. It grants Spectrum 15 during combat, 25 true damage, 15 true damage reduction, has built-in no follow-up, and Byleth can use Sothis' Wrath style. That style allows Byleth to attack from 3 spaces away, and he gets 10 extra damage during combat, and it can be used once per turn. On top of a PRF special in Serious Pulse, which is a 5 cooldown special that boosts his damage by his entire speed stat, it inflicts -7 speed and res as well as Share Spoils Plus at the start of the turn on the closest foes and any foe within 2 spaces of them. It has built-in penalty doubler, grants 40 to 80% special damage reduction on the foe's first hits if he initiates combat or if it's his first enemy phase. It grants 40% special damage reduction on the foe's first follow-up attacks, and it grants potent follow 100%. Wow, it's Brave Byleth, but newer, but also not that much better. In fact, he might be a bit worse in some cases. A lot of it really has to do with his weapon type more than anything else. To Fallen's credit, he can use his style once per turn instead of once every 2 turns. He doesn't have a tether, and he has a lot of debuffs in his kit. Panic, Shackle, Share Spoils Plus, it's okay enough stuff. But besides that, I don't really see the appeal of him over Brave. I think the main thing Brave has over Fallen is that he can be a frontliner, whereas Fallen can't do it as well. This means he'll be able to use his range a lot more effectively over Fallen. Brave also has better ring access, what with Erica and Erica, it's really just Erica. Brave hits are good. Not to mention, Brave still gives out good support in penalty neutralization, times pulse, stat swings, and so on. I do think out of the box, Fallen Byleth will be way more effective than Brave at least. He could get 80% special damage reduction, which is massive, and he should hit way harder in general, although it is incredibly weak to AoE specials, which isn't something Brave is affected by as much. His skill accessibility really makes up for it a lot, and if Fallen were melee, this probably wouldn't even be a discussion to begin with. But it's not as if Fallen is even a bad unit, even on the basis of 3 range style. Honestly, he'll probably get away with a fair bit because of it. That, and again, 80% special damage reduction is a lot. 40% on the follow-up might be a problem though. Byleth also comes with attack speed aria, dual support 4, and a brand new beast skill in Demonic Force, which inflicts -4 speed and res, grants penalty neutralization, true damage, and true damage reduction based on the max special cooldown count, and a special jump of 1 before their first attack. Whoa, it's Gambit, but newer. Honestly, it's fine enough. It has a decent amount of true damage and true damage reduction, so it can only be so bad. And considering it's mage locked, you're probably going to run logic with it, which makes it way easier to get a high amount of both. I think it's decent. Besides that, attack speed aria is pretty good and dual support 4 is amazing. I'm surprised they reprinted that already and that it's going in the main pool. It makes me happy knowing they're willing to put good skills in the normal pool. Well, when it's a 5-star unit at least. And other than that, that sure is Fallen Byleth. It's Brave, but again, and not even that much better in some cases. I think the weapon type difference is a huge factor that keeps Brave a bit above Fallen in my eyes. At the very least, he'll be way better out of the box, and he's still decent at what he does. It's kind of difficult to be bad when you have a 3-space style. I said difficult, not impossible. Next we have Fallen Ivy. Just like with Byleth, she got an ult not too long ago on the Winter banner. Surely she'll have something distinct here since it's been so little time between ults. Don't hold your breath. Let's see. Ivy comes with Fel Tome, which is a slaying colorless tome with built-in Canto distance. It nullifies adaptive damage. It grants Spectrum 15 to herself and Spectrum 5 to allies, as well as penalty neutralization and a special jump before every attack to both. She gets 25 true damage during combat, 15 true damage reduction, guard nullification, and 7 HP after combat. She also comes with a PRFA skill in Final Say, which grants Visible Spectrum 9, Unconditional Pass, allows her to warp within 2 spaces of any ally within 2 spaces, or 5 if they entered combat or used an assist. She grants Creation Pulse and Anathema at the start of the player phase or enemy phase to herself and any ally within 2 spaces. She gets Dual Phase Brave if she has more res than the foe or is within 2 spaces of an ally. She gets upwards of 25 true damage based on the amount of time she attacked, and Miracle. Wow, it's Winter Ivy! But newer. It's also the laziest copy and pasted unit on the banner, and it's not even close. So for context, Winter Ivy came out 5 months ago, so naturally, you're probably wondering what their differences are. Well, for the weapons, Winter grants 7 HP to allies after combat and gets damage reduction piercing, while Fallen grants penalty neutralization, has Canto distance, and gets 7 HP after combat. And for their PRFA skills, Fallen no longer has a condition for pass, she can warp up to 2 more spaces without an ally support, she doesn't get extra move, and instead of granting Potent Follow and Anathema, she grants Creation Pulse and Anathema. Ooh. So yeah, very creative unit design from Intelligent Systems. Ignoring the spacing between alts, if you're gonna give a character another one so quickly, can you at least make them a bit more distinct? This really is just the same thing but barely adjusted. I think the best way I can really discern these two alts is that Winter is a better disruptor, whereas Fallen is a better combat unit. Winter has her button that replaces any terrain with Miasma, which is what arguably made her so strong in the first place, but even then she had Miracle, Brave, and decent range to work with. Fallen just has way better range with less restrictive conditions, so in a sense she's going to be more reliable for combat. You don't need an ally support, just somebody to enter combat or use an assist, which is way more flexible. That said, you're still going to need an ally close enough for her to jump, which could potentially be an issue, but at the very least she has Canto distance, so she can run away a bit after. But yeah, besides that, it really is just Winter Ivy copy and pasted, which is a bit upsetting. I think they could have tried a bit harder. Honestly, the only effort put into this alt was the voice acting. They did a really good job.
Alas, I am exceptionally beautiful.
Ivy also comes with Logic, Attack Res Detect Aerial, and Attack Res Crux Ploy. Yep, those sure are res skills. Well, Logic isn't at least. It's another damage reduction special, but for mages, which is nice enough. Detect Aerial is a really good map-wide support skill since it requires no setup and provides decent stat swings and true damage. It's definitely one of the better new age skills we have currently. And Attack Res Crux Ploy is really good at being replaced for another flyer skill. Just run Uplift or Instruct or something else instead.
You can do better.
And other than that, that sure is Fallen Ivy. It's Winter Ivy, but again, but slightly better and worse in some areas. If you want Winter Ivy but with better range and slightly better and more flexible combat, then there you go. If you want an Ivy that can replace terrain with a button, then wait till the end of the year. You should have gotten her ahead of time. Either way, it's extremely boring and lazy, but that's how Faye's been as of late, so silly me for expecting anything. Maybe she'll do something unique with her Brave version. We'll have to wait and see. And then there's Sarah, or Canis, and they're a Red Tome rearmed unit. This marks the first ever Dreadlord in Fae, which is genuinely awesome. Jugdro fans, stay winning. Anyway, she comes with Arcane 12's Writ, which is a slaying red tome that inflicts -7 speed and res, sabotage, speed shackle, and res shackle on the closest foes and any foe within 2 spaces of them at the start of the turn and after taking an action. It grants Spectrum 15 during combat, 25 true damage, 15 true damage reduction, and 50% damage reduction piercing. And for the actual exclusive skill, we have 11th Deadlord, which has built-in Phantom Res 5, it disables adaptive damage, it grants 6 visible attack and res, Anathema, and Dull to herself and any ally within 3 spaces of her at the start of the player phase or enemy phase. It grants upwards of Spectrum 12 to herself based on the amount of allies with Anathema active. It grants 7 true damage reduction, guard nullification, and Berserk style. And Berserk style is a 5 range style that ignores savior effects, reduces all damage dealt in combat to 0, it inflicts feud and discord on the target, and grants another action afterward. Jugdro fans, stay losing. I am sorry, but this is really mediocre. Okay, let's start with the positives. Now let's move on to the negatives. Okay, half kidding aside, giving out her bonuses in a 3-space range is pretty good. I would have taken some other bonus besides Dole, but at least Anathema is pretty good. Providing upwards of Spectrum 12 is also pretty good, but besides that, her C skill is really underbaked. Berserk style inflicting feud and discord is great. Having it only affect the target is not great. I think it should have spread to nearby foes as well, since it'd have an actual impact on an enemy team. Hitting a single target really doesn't do much. I would have even accepted it being 6 range instead of 5, because that would have at least allowed her to hit the backline of an Aether defense team. 5 range is extremely susceptible to Foresight Snare, which is really bad. There's just a lot going against her style overall, which wouldn't be a problem if the rest of her C skill picked up the slack. But unfortunately, that's the only thing she has to her name, because everything else can be foddered. And speaking of which, Canis comes with Comet, Attack Speed Aria, and Speed Res Unrest. Yep, that sure is fodder. Fodder that I basically covered already. Comet is another damage reduction special, but it acts like Astra, so that's fine. Attack Speed Aria is good, and Speed Res Unrest is also good. It's just nice extra goodies to pass around when foddering her arcane. And other than that, that sure is Fallen Canis. She feels like a unit that would have released last year. It's one thing to have her style be 5 range only, but it's another to limit the spread of her debuffs. Feud and Discord are good, but it sticking to the target really kneecaps it. It's also a weird limitation, seeing as we have T Veronica, who automatically inflicts it on multiple foes and can do it 3 times a turn. The bonuses are cool at least, but it's not enough by itself. So what you're left with is a unit that really doesn't do much of anything worthwhile. But hey, at least if you're in need of an inheritable red tome, Sayline has you covered. And finally, we have Tibarn, who is also a rearmed. He's a really weird choice for a Fallen alt, but at least they're willing to give someone from Tellius an alt that isn't the same 4 characters. I'll take what I can get. Anyway, Tibarn comes with Arcane Fury Bite, which is a slaying flying beast stone that inflicts -5 Spectrum, Dole, and 10 true damage on foes within 3 rows and columns of him. It grants Spectrum 10 during combat, 25 true damage, 15 true damage reduction, an additional 15 true damage reduction when a foe's special goes off, 50% damage reduction piercing, and if the unit is transformed, it grants 2 visible attack and extra movement. And as for the actual exclusive skill, we have Chaos Torrent, which is a pure FB skill with built-in Canto distance. It removes the transformation condition and inflicts -7 attack and defense, frozen, and sabotage on the closest foes and any foe within 2 spaces of them at the start of the turn and after taking an action. It inflicts -5 attack speed and defense on the foe during combat, grants 20% defense-based true damage and true damage reduction, and Brave Felix's Gale Force gimmick. Wow, it's Brave Felix! And Ilian Minerva. Honestly, it's a lot of things. First thing in order are congratulations for releasing a Beast Arcane that more than one unit wants. And unlike the Dews Arcane, this one has actual decent support attached to it. It's basically Horse Bow support, but it trades out damage reduction piercing for Dull, which isn't too bad. Beyond it being like every other generic weapon, it at least has a nice support angle, especially since it's for flyers specifically. Melee flyers have the best skills for that role. It's also really nice in Tibarn's case since he actually has solid debuffs from his PRF skill. Being able to inflict frozen multiple times a turn is really good, and the added stat swings with sabotage makes him a fairly decent support unit. I'm not sure what to think of the rest of his kit though, since it really is just Brave Felix. I think it's okay for Aether offense stuff at least, since you could clear structures. Beast flyers don't have any sort of Heavenly Soar equivalent, which is helping him at the moment, but if they were to ever drop it, I think it's going to be a problem for him. Honestly, even if he had Pass, I think that would have been enough so he could get in a bit more reliably. It's kind of why I think Minerva has the edge here for mixed utility, but as it stands, I think he'll do a bit more than Canis, which is the bar for the video. It's a very low bar, but at least he can pass it. Good job, you're better than bad. Tibarn also comes with Attack Defense Excel and 2 new skills in Dark Beast Agility and Sturdy Lagoos. Dark Beast Agility inflicts -4 attack speed and defense, has built-in Omnifeud, grants 5 true damage during combat, 5 first hits true damage reduction, and has speed-based no follow-up. Meanwhile, Sturdy Lagoos is a 5 cooldown special that boosts his damage by his entire defense stat. It has 40% first hit special damage reduction, and when transformed, it grants breath and inflicts guard on the foe during combat. That's not too bad. This C-skill is just another version of something we already saw multiple times already, but Omnifeud with more effects is really good. I like what they're doing with the beast specials though, since it has more effects to work with. They've been pushing the design space of specials for a while, so it's nice that beasts can actually get something for themselves. I wouldn't say breath is the best, but it's far from bad, and guard is fine enough. I think future beast specials will pick up the slack though. But besides that, it really is just beast fodder, aka incredibly niche and difficult to pass around. So have fun trying to figure that one out. And other than that, that sure is Fallen Tibarn. It's Minerva and Felix as one unit, which is interesting, but that's relative to the banner. I think he's a decent support unit, but his utility isn't as good as Minerva's due to her access to Heavenly Soar. And compared to Felix, well, it really is just Beast Felix, I guess. You could probably have him auto-battle stuff just as well, but I think just like with Canis, you're probably just grabbing him for the arcane. And then for our freebie Grant Hero battle unit, we have Miklon. We have no idea what he does, but he'll probably get a PRF because that's what they usually do. Hopefully it's good. And yeah, that's the banner. Yep. Okay, bye. And now that we've gone over the brand new Fallen units, we will now condemn them to their fate. And according to this, the brand new Fallen banner has earned a whatever this thing is out of 10 on the Eichthenier graph. I should have thought this one out a bit more. And speaking of thinking, if you were wondering whether this banner is worth summoning on, then let me tell you. Honestly, not really. This banner is surprisingly not that good overall, but there are some things worth highlighting at least. Byleth is another unit with 3-space style that can be used every turn, which is nice. However, I think the style is mostly carrying what's otherwise just an okay unit. I think he needed a bit more going for him because he's mostly just an okay debuffer otherwise. Ivy is Winter that trades out utility for more of a combat niche, which is fine. I think she'll perform really well in combat, but we're not short on units that can hit like crazy with really good range. And in her case, she needs to teleport to an ally, which means it's a bit more restrictive. But at the very least, it's way easier to get going here. Canis feels like a unit that's over a year late. The main thing she has is Berserk style, and it's not even that good. It inflicts Feud and Discord, which are good debuffs, but only on the target, which is incredibly limiting. Not to mention it's only 5 range, which is another limiting factor. She really doesn't do much of anything. And Tibarn is slightly above that since he does provide actual decent support. He can inflict Frozen and Sabotage multiple times a turn and provide some drive support on top of that, which is really nice. He also has the Brave Felix gimmick of multiple Gale Forces, but the lack of pass is really unfortunate. I think it's the one thing holding him back from really excelling, but at least he's got decent tools to work with. In fact, that's really how I can describe the banner in general. They have decent things about them, but not enough to really warrant going out of your way for. Except Canis, she has nothing going on. If you had to spend your orbs on anything right now, it should be the 3 Houses banner. However, that's ending soon, so if you wanted to summon on it, it's your last chance to do so. Who knows when they'll print another unit that can reach across the entire map. Wait a minute. There's also the Sombron and Leon banner that has a lot of amazing units sharing on it. There's a lot of value on each share, making it one of the better banners to summon on currently. We'll also be getting a Bride banner later this month if you want to wait and be disappointed first. But besides that, unless you really want to update a Red Tome or Beast Flyer favorite of yours, then you're not really missing out on much, TBH, 2BH, to be quite H. See you in another 5 months when we get a newer version of Byleth, Ivy, and Tibarn again.
Loathsome.